Welcome to CHL The Zone, Episode 7, Playoff Edition. Today, we have 4 people here on the panel. We have co-host CKX Whale Fan.
What's up, guys?
We have other co-hosts, L, Vaughn, and L, also Saginaw GM, and Kitchener GM there of Whale Fan, obviously. But yeah, Glory.
What's up?
We have the Owen Sound Attack GM here with us as a special guest today, Sport Freak.
What up?
And last but not least, we have GM of the Ottawa 67s, Bears, and 35? Your number's 35, right? Just so I know.
5.
Oh, Bears are in 5. GM of Ottawa 67s.
What's up?
But anyways, let's get into this. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Player of the Week. We're going to talk about who's hot and who's not. CK's Keys of the Week. And, of course, our playoff predictions. Yes, indeed. This is going to be round 1 of the playoffs this week. But before we get into that, let's talk about our Player of the Week. And we will kick it off to Whale Fan. One player,
Alright, guys.
One player.
Yep. Well, I've seen a lot of familiar names on who's not or who's hot for this week. So my start of the week, I'm actually gonna go with somebody from my team just because we've been seeing some of the same guys on our list here So I'm actually gonna go with TK, Who Your Daddy V2. He's went 3-0-0 this week. The reason why I brought him up is because of the way he played against the Belleville Bulls this week. He's scoring 5 out of the 7 goals. Amazing job by him. But his stats overall for the week, 14 points, 7 goals, plus minus of +5 at the right wing position. And that's my start of the week.
All right, over to Sport Freak.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with an unusual pick here, and I'm going to go with Dr. Walsh from the Ottawa 67s.
Damn you.
He's a pretty good buddy of mine. Should have been on my team, but still upset about that. He went 3-0-0 this week. He had 11 points, 4 goals, plus minus of 4, averaged 3.7 assists. He fought his life off to try and make the playoffs, and sadly couldn't do it, but if anybody deserves it, it would be him and the entire Ottawa team.
Yeah, definitely. I've talked to Walsh a couple times. Very easy guy to talk to. Definitely a very good player. It sucks that Ottawa wasn't able to pull through, but considering all the controversy they had early in the season, I could definitely say that they definitely came back very strong. I actually thought that they were going to pull in there personally. And now we go over to Vodman.
I'm gonna go with XX. I love Blacks XX off Kingston. He's got 7 points in games. I guess he's on their TC. Random guy. I guess I don't know.
Never heard of him.
Looks pretty good. I don't know. Could be a player. I don't know.
Hey, you lit us up
GM.
for 5 goals.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You lit us up for 5 goals in the night.
Man, for a TC player. How are they in A-list with that guy on TC? Maybe it's the same guy. Oh. Anyways, to Bears.
Alright, Bears. Who is your start of the week?
Alright,
That was hilarious.
I would have to say my player of the week would be from one of the guys from my team would be the guy that plays with Dr. Walsh would be Bertuzzi. He was 3-0-0 on the week and had 12 points. And he really honestly, just my team in general just really stepped up when they needed to, and it was just a shame that stuff turned out the way it was, but those guys fought hard and they won the games that they needed to. And they really improved and improved a lot of me, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I honestly thought you guys were going to pull through. My start of the week is going to be personally, I'm surprised no one has mentioned this guy yet. I'm fourth line worthy from Plymouth. He had a 3-0 record for 20 points, 12 goals, 8 assists, a plus minus of 4, and believe it or not, a 6.7 average points per game playing left wing for Plymouth. He actually played against us. He's had 36 points in only a matter of a couple games this season, and if he was not in the AHL the whole season, sorry to Kadri and Stiffy, but I think this guy would be top scorer without any question if this guy wasn't in the AHL for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. But yeah, fourth line played outstanding. He was actually on the All-Star team where they won for the Western Conference. Where that game they actually won 6-4. Fourth line's outstanding player. He's been in the season. He's been around here for a while now. Not surprised to see him on this list. Played outstanding this week. Actually, won Player of the Week, so he is my star of the week. But anyways, we're going to go into our second segment. I'm sure you guys know this segment by now. Who's hot and who's not. We will kick it over to Whale Fan to kick it all up.
Alright guys, well I'm going to start with my hot team this week. I will go with the Ottawa 67s here, going 5-2 this week. Great job to them here. One of their best weeks of the season in my opinion. Jumping from the 18th spot all the way up to 3rd. Great job to them, and I know they worked hard just to try to stay alive, but unfortunately didn't work out. So that's my hot team. My who's not team, I have a couple here. I'm actually going to start off with the Erie Otters. Some reason, not one of their best weeks. Entering the playoffs a little bit weak here, going 3-4-2, and they jumped all the way down from the 3rd seed down to the 17th seed. And I like to say this every single episode. This is the 3rd time I've mentioned it. Barry, where are you? I mean, I heard there was going to be change, but I think Whale Fan's right on this one here. You're still in the bottom. When's there going to be change? Actually, wait, I shouldn't really say that, but yeah. That's what I got to say there. Barry's still asleep. So I'll kick it over
they're going to be asleep.
They always are, right?
Yeah. Who did they beat? Didn't they beat the Otters?
They actually did.
I'm pretty sure they beat the Otters this week.
Yeah, they actually.
Yeah, 3-1 or something.
They actually put a pretty good performance against Lake Erie this week. Lake Erie, like you said, Whale Fan, did not have the best week. They were first in the conference, looking better than ever. They were actually predicted to actually probably stay on top of that spot, but it looks like if they weren't the division winner over Owensound by 1 point, then they actually would probably be facing us. Or actually, yeah, they'd be in the 3rd spot right now, or 4th spot right now if they weren't the division winner. So that's definitely interesting. I thought Lake Erie would have a much better week, like you said, Will Fan, but we'll kick it over to Wagner.
Alright, I'm going to go with the Wolves. Sudbury went from 10th to 18th. That's not a huge drop, but they were sliding nicely at the 4th seed in the East earlier last week. Honestly, their matchup looked a lot better last week than it does now. They're facing one of the top 3 teams in the East. I don't know which one necessarily. They're facing the Bulls, which it's probably better than facing the Petes or the Battalion, but they went 2-5-1 with a -16 goal differential this week. They did horribly. Their power play percentage was 4.8. That's horrendous. How's that even possible? Who's high? The Plymouth Whalers. 7th Defense is running a great squad over there now, especially the 4th line back from his little suspension. Their defense is hot, the offense is hot, the goalies are hot, and the TC's got players that are active roster players anywhere else, and they're ready to play. So they're scary to see in playoffs for sure, and they're hot too, so 10 times worse. Sorry, Whale Fan.
Wait, what was it that you said for who's not?
I said the Wolves, Sudbury.
Oh, Oh, you said
Everett's
sorry,
team.
Whale fan, and I had no clue
Oh,
what you meant
about
there.
Plymouth. Yeah,
Oh,
Plymouth is you're facing Plymouth.
yeah, I know
That's
that.
gonna be
Yeah.
a.
All right.
Yeah, I'm so happy when Owen Sound got dropped to us by Sport Freak. I mean, it's not much
Yeah,
better,
of
but
course.
it's, whew, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Speaking of Sport Freak, now over to him for his who's hot and who's not.
All right. First off, Glory, I'll have a pleasure playing you. And then second, who's not hot would have to be London. They went from 4th last week to 14th this week. I don't know if they forgot this was the last week or if they just were trying to drop intentionally. Not saying they did, but they didn't play well. They're 3-4-1. Goal differential 0. I mean, there's not much really positive to say about them. Who's hot? As much as it pains me to say this, I'm gonna have to go with the Kitchener Rangers. They went 6-3. I've played them multiple times this season, and they literally drain me. I feel like I played a legit real-life hockey game. I feel like they're getting hot at the right time, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I feel like they could very well give Plymouth a run for their money.
Thank you, Sport Freak there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I
What's
do
Wait,
yeah,
real quick. I just
go
want
into
to
his
touch up on
record.
something that you said with London.
Oh.
I actually have something interesting to point out with them. When they came into the week, the teams that were all battling for third, the teams from like 3 to 5, they were like 9 points behind. They were like 9 points behind 5, like 6 or 7 point behind Kitchener. So maybe they just kind of decided they were going to experiment lines so they could just go into playoffs having sure lines because of the fact that maybe they figured they didn't have much to lose. But I'm going to go to my who's hot and who's not. My who's hot is going to be the Plymouth Whalers, 7-0-1 this week. The only overtime loss the only loss they had was an OT to the Battalion on Thursday. They actually had originally lost to Windsor in a just complete thrashing, but that game was overturned due to illegal lines. So they went 7-0-1 on the week, only losing to the Battalion in overtime against one of their better lines, I believe. My who's not, as much as I hate to say this, I'm going to go with the Lake Erie Otters, 3-4-2, dropping from 3rd all the way down to 17th. They just did not seem to be on their game this week, personally. I actually had them going in the same direction they did last week. I had them going around 6-3. I thought they were going to keep that first spot, to be honest, but Sault Ste. Marie showed up when they needed to, got to push the conference, and honestly thought that I was a little disappointed on how Lake Erie played, but last but not least is going to Bears.
I would have to say my who's hot team would probably be the Whalers, as everybody else said. I mean, they're just a good team. They're just good defensively overall, or their deep roster. Seventh just put together a pretty good team. Like, they showed up at the right time. Who's not? Probably the Sting. I honestly thought that this week they were going to pull through when they needed to. Like, they had a tight race with the last team in their division, which was, let's see, who else I forgot. Guelph. But they kind of disappointed, but, this is how it goes sometimes. I know that from experience.
Okay, and I'm glad we got to be able to get through that real quick. That way we could go ahead and get into Whale Fans' Keys of the Week, and then after that we go into the thing that everyone is waiting for, which is the playoff matchups. Whale Fan, you have the floor, buddy. What are your keys of the week?
All right, guys. Second episode of Whale Fans 3 Keys of the Week. I'm just going to quickly jog you through what happens during this segment. Basically, I ended up getting this off of just some professional games talk about the important things teams need to do to win games sometimes. This kind of relates to it. So my keys to last week were watch out for the waiver wire teams, or watch out for the waiver wire, I should say. teams can be fixed using it. I didn't see much action there going on. Wasn't much there. Don't get banned in the last week. Haven't seen any of that. And put your stats in quick. Some teams were able to get this down perfectly. Other teams not as much. But, we'll let it go. All right, my new keys for this week, though. Always pay attention to line deadlines. This is a huge thing going into playoffs, so GMs, make sure you know when to submit your lines for the playoffs starting this week. So my second key, try not to use as many ECUs. If anything, don't even use them at all, because you can only use your ECUs once. So be mindful of that. And my last key, the waiver wire closes on Sunday, so try to make the best of it while you can now. So that's my keys for this week. This is CK Wilfin. Moving on here. Go on ahead, B Major.
Alright, definitely some important keys that managers and players should watch out for. Some of those could actually make a difference on the way your series go, but make sure to be mindful of all those things because they can definitely help you in the long run. So anyways, let's get into this topic here. Playoff matchups. We're going to start with the Eastern Conference, the 1 versus 8 seed, the North Bay Battalion President's Trophy winners, 79 points, a 39 5-1 record. Just have been unstoppable all season long. Have one of the best forwards, some of the best forwards, some of the best goalies, and some of the best defense. But they play against the Kingston Frontenacs, who, besides their struggles mid-late in the season, they played really well this week. They went 18-22-5 this season, but they really pulled out strong this week. And they have a couple of really good lines that I feel don't really go that noticed in the league. So, even though they are playing North Bay, what do you guys think of the series here?
I'll start out here. The Battalion and Kingston. Well, I've met with Puckstopper recently, actually, talking about the playoffs. I actually brought up North Bay quite a bit, and he actually told me that it's no surprise seeing them play them. And a matter of fact, it sounds like they are very excited to play this team. I don't know why, but this team could be, swept by the Battalion. But it sounds like to me that they know what they're. Kingston seems to know what they're doing, I guess. But like I said earlier in my post, North Bay should probably be able to sweep this one, to be honest. It's Kingston's not looking that great compared to North Bay right now. This could be a sweep. So, go on ahead, guys.
What do you think, Vaughn?
I'm just looking at the previous games right now. 8-2. So that was top line against top line. I'm pretty sure I saw Kingston had 3 minutes on attack. North Bay had like 15. This is gonna be the latest 5. I don't see it going past that. Unless they use that guy I talked about earlier. That could be huge.
That's the guy who could save their season.
That ECU.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
they can only use him once, though.
Unless they call him up. They just couldn't play on the same line. I don't think they could connect if they're on the same time.
What do you mean? They'd be a great line. They play like so close alike, I bet.
Well, they do, man.
Like bread and butter.
Same player almost. No, that's gonna be a sweep. Just write it off.
Alright, I'm gonna go into my prediction here. I think Kingston, like you said, they have a couple of really great forwards. Cheeks for Dummies, Puckstopper, Crystal Tang. I love Black. They have a pretty good team roster. They have a pretty good roster. They can only use ECUs once. That goes for every team. So just to keep that in mind, like you said, Will, Fan, Bond, and although I think North Bay honestly is just way too deep of a team. I think Kingston will probably avoid the sweep. I think they'll probably pull off a game 3 at home. But honestly, I don't see this series going past 5. Not Kingston. I think North Bay, they're just too good of a team. I just don't see Kingston having a deep enough roster to stop that North Bay Battalion team. So I got North Bay going in 5.
Actually, I'm going to add a piece. Now, look at your roster real quick. I'm actually going to guide you through something here that I've noticed. Look at, I see a couple defenders I had in the past that I ended up trading away. The former Kitchener defense technically pretty much has gone to Kingston, if you look at it right here. I see Angry Calf, that was on my team previously. Ace Killer rated, Quick Shot. That guy Ty, we were interested in him, never got him. We have quite a bit of Kitchener players that were sent here. Raekwon now on the team. Quite a bit of Kitchener defense. Old Kitchener defense, I should say. But I don't know if they're trying to use the former Rangers defense as a way to beat North Bay. I'm not sure, but that might be the deal. But that's just what I've noticed in general.
Sports Freak, you want to go ahead and touch up on this?
Yeah, I can touch up. I'm going to say something that I'm sure a lot of people have thought throughout the year. North Bay's Nazim and Stiffy Nope line, I've played against them in OTP. They're a very solid line. I know a lot of people have looked at their games and they don't think they're playing top lines every week. So I'll be interested to see what they do when they have to play top lines and have to play to win games. So, I mean, nothing against them. I've talked to them. Super nice guys. I know they're very talented. I just want to see what they do against a top line to shut up all the non-believers. And on Kingston's end, from what Glory's told me, I Love Blacks is going to be awesome in this series. But I feel like Kingston just doesn't have the firepower. North Bay's got 3 lines that could be starters in AHL, in my opinion. And I just think Kingston's going to go down 4-0 pretty fast.
Bears, what do you think about it?
Okay, well, interestingly enough, I think that even though I really disagree with everything that happens in North Bay, I would like to point out the fact that they have a really deep roster and their team is just showing up to play every single game. Like, I have not seen them one time just like not come out ready to just fire at all cylinders, honestly. I think they're going to sweep them 4-0, and I'm sorry, Kingston, I really would have taken them off your hands. I would have loved to get 4-0'd too.
So I think everybody here has North Bay winning the series.
Absolutely.
Next series, Belleville versus Sudbury. Sudbury actually was 4th in the conference starting out the week, but they slid a lot this week. I know this was actually one of the Who's Not teams for us just now. Belleville, they have been one of the best teams in the league. They've made a lot of interesting trades during the season, but it hasn't seemed to hurt them as they go number 2 in the Eastern Conference, 2nd best team in the league, going a record of 39-6, while Sudbury goes 20-21-4. Interesting fact: only the top 3 teams have over 500 records in the East. But what do you guys see out of this Belleville Wolves series here?
Well, what I see here is I automatically chime in here. Sudbury and Belleville, huh? Well, what I see automatically, there could be goaltending differences. Now, like I've heard and seen here, it looks like the Darcy Kemper and Pillow Pants duo in Sudbury looks to be decent. However, in Belleville, sure they have reliable Moose as a good goalie and all, but Demented Christ. Now think about this real quick. Why was Garbs removed? Okay. Garbs was a good goalie at the time. I'm very interested to know why you got rid of him. Alright? Many people have been probably wanting to know it, including myself. Why did you trade Garbs?
I've actually
now,
heard.
sure, you gave Erie a boost, but, you know, Erie's got their goaltending quite set up with their AGM and, I believe, AK Buckmaster over there. They're two pretty solid goaltenders. Alright? Now, there just could have been a bit more thought process there that, Belleville should have known. Just saying. Belleville they shouldn't have made that trade. Plain simple as that. Other than that, I think the offense might be pretty much compared to as the same for Sudbury. I see Sudbury's got a couple hot players. known as OMG Viper, Bambi Rudy. Got some good guys over there. I'm not going to be surprised if Sudbury could lead the series at some point, but Belleville might be able to take it away. I have Belleville in 6, so that'll be all I have to say on the topic.
Vaughn, I think you were actually going to say something there while.
Yeah, so I talked to Garbs a few times. We're mutual buddies. I don't know really what you call it. He's on my friends list. We talked about the trade a little bit, and supposedly there was a thought that Valor thought that Demented Christ was a better goalie than Garbs, which I mean, looking at the fact that how they're grabbing at any waiver goalie that goes on waivers, obviously that probably wasn't the case. I'm going to make a bold statement on this one. I think Sudbury is going to win in 7. Belleville's was a really good team. I think they got a little trade happy around week 3, and they traded a lot of guys. I'm looking at their team. They got rid of Ordio, who I guess is inactive at this moment, so don't put your waiver claim in for him. They have Blazing Eagle Eye on training camp for some reason, who killed it in the 8 games he did play. And other than that, I mean, our team played him this year, and I mean, we lost 1 in overtime, I'm pretty sure, and we won the other 2. I want to say. I might be wrong, but
we swept them 2-0.
Oh, we swept them 2-0.
Yeah, we swept them 2-0.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'll check up on that though.
They're a good team. I just think Sudbury's got really good goaltending. Darcy Quimper is a phenomenal goaltender. And I would also say that I made a trade with them like at the very end of trade deadline. I gave them a really good friend of mine, the Dimer 10, who used to be a good NHLer back in like season 17. And they finally called him up, it looks like. I mean, him, Ravens, Fallen Saint, Viper, Everett's on the team, he's pretty good. And it looks like Andrew Givens, which I think he's played more forward, but nonetheless, I think they can actually pull over an upset. And I believe Chosen will be sent down as well. He plays for, I want to say, Hamilton, who I'm on their AHL team. They suck. He's going to get called back down, and he tore it up in the 1 week he was here. Player of the week in week 2. I'm pretty sure. 14 points in 3 games, 6 points in 3 games. So, I mean, he's coming back too. So they have the firepower now. I think they can pull off an upset.
All right, my personal pick here. I'm not going to say Sudbury is going to win the series, but I am going to definitely say that they will pull Belleville to at least 6 or 7. I have Belleville winning this series in 6. I think that Belleville will win 2 out of the first 3, then Sudbury will probably win 1, and then Belleville just closes it out on them. If Sudbury does get some of those AHL calls they have called down, such as Chosen, and I think Darcy Quimper was called up. If they get some of those, he's back. If they get some of those call-ups back down to their team, and they become the team that they were back in such week 1, where a lot of people, including me, thought that they were going to be a top contender, they could possibly really do something against this Belleville team, because don't get me wrong, I guess Valor has something up his sleeve. It hasn't necessarily made him fall too badly, but I think that the fact that they got trade happy could be a possibility, or there's other things that could have gone along with that. Maybe he had maybe there was availability, or maybe there were a difference between manager and player. You never know what goes on in the locker rooms. But personally, I feel Belleville, they will be taken pretty far, but I see them coming out of the series. I just don't know if the Wolves will come back from the week they had last week. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably say they'd win in 7. But over to Sport Freaking News.
All right, I'll throw something in here real fast. I was looking at the playoff matchup against Bellevue and Sudbury, and in my opinion, Bellevue's played really well early. I think they've fallen off, but I feel like they still have the power to compete for a championship cup. I also know something interesting. I went to the matchup 1 of playoff game 1 against them, and Sudbury already has their lineup in, which is kind of an odd strategy because most teams wait until right at the deadline. So I feel like Sudbury's telling them we got nothing to hide and we're going to come punch you in the mouth, and I hope it works out for them. I know Sudbury pretty well. I get along with their GM, and I feel like he can pull some tricks up his sleeve, but I think he runs out, so I'm going to go Bulls in 6.
Now over to Bears with his prediction.
Well, you guys pretty much said mostly all of it, but I'll throw together something. I would have to say that Sudbury does have good goaltending, and Belleville has made some questionable trades for sure, and picking up some questionable people off the waiver wire at goalie. But, you know, they definitely still have a strong team, and they had a little bit of a hiccup, but, you know, hopefully they can get back at it. But I'm actually going to have to go with Sudbury in 7 here. Hopefully make it interesting. I think if any team could beat Belleville, Sudbury would be that team.
Alright, next series will be the 3 versus 6 series. We have the Peterborough Petes, arguably one of the best defenses in the league, starting with D'Angelo, against a Mississauga team that started out the season hot, but mightily slowed down during the season. Mississauga, they went 20, 22, and 3. They didn't have too bad of a week this week, went 6 and 4, clinching themselves a playoff berth over the week, playing against a Peterborough team who had a couple of hiccups, but still ended the regular season on a 3-game winning streak, going 6 and 4 in their last 10 as well, just like Mississauga, ending their season out with 61 points, 30, 14, and 1. This is going to be a defensive matchup versus defensive matchup, in my opinion. Not really too high scoring, but over to Whale fan with his prediction on this.
Well, I believe Mississauga is not hot at the right time. Only one line happens to be hot for Mississauga, and I can already predict what the line looks like to me. They don't look very hot, just plain simple. One D line I see is already hot there, which I can already tell what line it is. Goaltending has a decent, look to them. Some players are hot, some are not, but that could be what kills the Steelhead series. Although Peterborough, they've really got some good players. They have D'Angelo, like you said at the top of this. Johnny Sods happens to be a good guy. Ice Hawk's a good goalie, as I see here. A lot of good defensive presence, a lot of good offense presence. The only player that looks to be cold right now is the GM, but hey, that's not really a bad deal if, GM happens to be one of the weakest links, but that's not a problem at all. That's actually kind of a good thing that many of your players are better than you, regardless. But I think Peterborough could take this. I am not going to say sweep, because that's a lie. They will not sweep them, and there's going to be a point where Mississauga wins at least once. I'm going to say Peterborough in just 5 games. So, that's my take on this.
Alright, over to Waldman.
I think actually Peterborough is a better team than Belleville. And I think Mississauga is much worse than Sudbury. I'm going to say right now the only thing that will save Mississauga is their goaltending. But I don't think that'll even get them through. Minty's a good goalie. Moto Midget's really good goalie. He played for Moncton last year. He was their starter. A lot of people didn't know about him. He's only played 9 games this season. Really good goalie. I just don't see anything else other than Presley and Go Leafs Go on that line, on that team that can do anything. Meanwhile, the Petes, they get scoring from the back end to the front. So I don't see a chance here. I think they're going to be out in 5. I'd say I would go 4, but I think Mississauga might pull out a squeaker. So
Honestly, in my opinion, I personally agree with the both of you guys. I think it's, besides one really good offensive line from each team, I think this is going to be a very defensive matchup. I don't think you're going to see a lot of the 5-2s, 6-1 kind of games that you normally see in the CHL. I think both of these teams are much stronger defensively and goaltending-wise than they are offensively. And this is no disrespect to either team. Both of them, Peterborough has a heck of a lot of talent on that team, but don't get me wrong, Mississauga has a pretty good offense themselves. But when you look at a team like Peterborough, I think they were first or second in goals allowed in the league. They have a very, very deep defense on that whole roster. When you look up and down, they also have a lot of really good goalies, such as Ice Hawks on their team. And when you look at Mississauga, they're kind of the same way, just not as deep. Mississauga, they have Bionic Duck on their team, and on the goaltending side, as Glory mentioned there, Mincy and Moto Midget. Like I said, I feel like there will be one line for each team that can put a lot of goals in the net and light the lamp up, but mostly I feel this is going to be a defensive matchup that I feel Peterborough will win. I have the Pete's in 5 personally. I just don't think Mississauga has a deep enough roster to beat this Peterborough team. Over to Sport Freak, though.
All right, let's see what we got here. You guys have pretty much covered it all. Pete's defense is outstanding. It's hard to do that. I know a lot of their players. I've played with them. If Mississauga is going to compete, I feel like, and you guys might disagree, Mississauga has an edge on goaltending, in my opinion. I know Mississauga's goalies very well, and they can keep you in a game until late in the third. But goaltending only gets you so far when you have no support. So I'm going to go Peterborough in 4 and go for the sweep.
I think that's a bit of a bold prediction there. I do agree that the goaltending is probably a little better over on the Mississauga side because they do have 2 outstanding goalies over there. I'm not sure about a sweep though personally. I think Mississauga will probably squeak one out. Probably one of those games where it just kind of comes down to who can get the most advantage. I think maybe a little EA might come into one of those games if Mississauga does one. That's no discredit to them. They're not a bad team necessarily. I just think Peterborough is a better team personally. But
That's a good point.
Over to Bears with his prediction, and we'll go over to the next matchup.
I think the Steelheads definitely have a good goalie, and Presley is pretty impressive on the forward end. I know he's been scoring a lot, and he's on one of the top scorer lists. But I definitely have to say Peterborough is a very solid defensive team, and they're pretty good goalie-wise, so I'm going to have to go with Peterborough in 5.
Okay, I think we all pretty much agree Peterborough's got this series in the wraps. Next series, probably one of the more interesting series in my opinion. The number 4 seed Niagara Ice Dogs versus the number 5 seed Oshawa Generals. So Niagara, who had some struggles in the middle part of the season, seemed to really come back. They made a couple moves. They've really improved. They also have the Cribbs brothers line back together, which I feel should be touched up on a little bit here. Niagara's a good team, but so does Oshawa. They've been pretty consistent all season, besides a lot of the controversy they had in the middle of the season. Ended up going 21, 23, and 1, while the Ice Dogs been 21, 22, and 2. When you look at these teams, pretty even personally. What do you guys think here?
Well, I'm going to start off here. Niagara, I can see that the Cribbs brothers are aligned with somebody in the middle or something like that. But actually, 2 players that played against me that looked pretty strong are the 2 Toxic guys, if you notice here. I think they play together quite a bit. Actually, I think that's what is going to keep Niagara going to the next round, in my opinion. I mean, they've got some really good. It seems they're really going for chemistry more than anything, and they look to master it. So, Oshawa, I mean, they got a couple hot guys, couple cold guys, but I mean, the only thing that's going to keep them in it is a couple guys that are good on offense right now. That's the only thing that can keep Oshawa in it. The goaltending does not look all that great with Shady in that. I don't know who the other goalie is over there, but I'm not sure. But doesn't look like Oshawa's going to get much out of this. I picked Niagara in 6 games. So.
All right, Vaughn, then over to you.
All right. Man, with Pete Cruz, I wish Pete Cruz was still here. This would be funner with Pete here.
It would be a lot more controversial, I tell you that much.
I know, I missed it.
GM's had a lot of controversy, but not the topic. Back to you.
I know. I figured I'd shout it out. So I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I'm gonna say Oshawa in 6. Niagara's team with the Kriz brothers. I mean, the Kriz brothers are good, but you have to have more than one line. And your goalies can't be putting up 4 goals against a game. But at the same time, Oshawa has subpar goaltending as well. So this is just going to be who outscores who. And I think Oshawa has more scoring. Especially, they have Frosty Lost, Flags, ISL Lessons, Supremacy. I mean, and they have a really solid defense. I think more solid than Niagara. So I'm going to go them in 6. I don't see Niagara pulling it out.
I'm actually going to beg to differ on you with that, Glory. Now, to win this series, whoever does win this, I'm looking at the numbers here. Whoever wins the series, they're going to have to be good at home. Niagara is 9-12-1 at home. Oshawa is 8-13-1 away. Niagara is 12-10-1 away, but Oshawa is 13-10-0 at home. To me, it seems like if you're going to win the series, you're going to have to take care of business on home ice. That's what it's looking like to me. It seems like from the records here, it seems like it's not going to be as easy for Oshawa because they have Niagara seems to be a much better away team than they are a home team, and it looks like Oshawa will struggle away, but Niagara has struggled on home ice this season. To me, this seems like this series is pretty even. I feel that Niagara, they definitely win the goaltending side. Snake is not too bad of a goalie in his own right. I just don't know if that Oshawa goaltending is deep enough to get to where Niagara is. I don't necessarily think Niagara's a one-line team. I do think that some of their line can be able to step up, in my opinion. They're definitely a team that is... They're kind of even with Oshawa. Honestly, both of them are pretty even. They allowed around the same amount of goals. They scored around the same amount of goals. They both were hot at the end of the season. I honestly think both of these teams are really even, but I actually am going to pick Niagara in 6 over Oshawa, taking it on Oshawa's home ice in Game 6. Over to Sport Freak now with the prediction.
All right, here's what I've been waiting for. So, I'm going to start by kind of curious, just want to know why Zach here got waived or if he's going to training camp. Just throwing that out there. What I think is going to happen is Niagara is a very good team. I haven't heard anybody talk bad about Snake from his team. But I know Oshawa pretty well. I know I have a few guys that I actually traded that ended up on that team, and they can be difference makers. So from what I know, I'm going to have to go Oshawa in 5.
Really?
So it looks like we have 2 for Niagara, 2 for Oshawa. Now over to Bears. He's kind of the decider here on this.
I'm gonna have to go with. I haven't really played Niagara much, but I know what Oshawa can do, and I don't know if they were playing what kind of guys against us, but I really do think Oshawa can pull it out, and I'm gonna have to say Oshawa in 6.
Alright, that seems to be a pretty even series from what it sounds like, in my opinion. It seems like this one could go either way, even from the prediction standpoint here. But now we go over to the Western Conference. We start with the 1-8 series, Greyhounds versus Storm. Greyhounds clinched the conference Wednesday night with a win over, I think it might have been Lake Erie possibly, but I'm not sure. I do know they clinched the conference Wednesday night with a 31-11-3 record. They played the Gulf Storm, who were fighting for their lives over the week to stay in that 8th spot, although due to some sanctions by the Spitfires and a Spitfires loss to, I believe, Owen Sound, the Gulf Storm were able to keep their spot after Sarnia being eliminated in the 8:30 Wednesday night game. This game seems a little lopsided by the numbers, but you never know what some teams can have under their sleeves. We will kick it off with CK Whalefin.
Yep. Seems like I'm always the first guy to talk. But anyways, I don't see much out of Guelph. I mean, it's nothing but blue, Doesn't look like the hottest team to be in the playoffs right now. I know Windsor and Sarnia worked their, off this week. I mean, I kind of am glad that at least I did with that Thursday night game when we won that. I hope it did scare them a little bit into thinking they might have missed if Windsor had won. But personally, Guelph could have been a team that should miss. Although I am going to go down to SSM here, or whatever you call them. They look to have great players. It's nothing but good stuff right now for them. They have an AHL caliber center there right now that they put in. A guy they claimed off Belleville in there. A lot of stuff is changing in SSM. The goaltenders have been the same for quite a bit now. Looking pretty hot. Defense is looking good. Offense is looking good. They're hot at the right time, okay? That's the true definition right there, if you want to ask me. That's the team to be on right now. By the way, actually, Bears Legacy also on that team. He's starting to really get it done over there. I'm glad to see he's fit there. He came from us, really, but several trades got him there. Guelph side, don't see much. The only person that really could save their season, notice how I say person, it's only one person to be quite honest, which I'm surprised, this questions me quite a bit. Linux? Huh. I didn't see much potential out of him, but I'm surprised you got a lot out of him. But, I mean, I see he's played some left-winger games, but okay. I guess it's acceptable. I don't know. But that would really be the only thing that kept Guelph alive. Sorry if I keep rambling, but in all the conclusions here, Guelph, this could be your chance of getting swept. 4-0. Greyhounds win the series in 4 games. Let's bring it over to Button in there.
I don't think they're getting swept. I think Tigers can pull off a win, at least one. Just his line. I think Sault Ste. Marie's beatable. We played them a few times. I think we haven't swept them. I think we lost 1 game. But I mean, there's some lines that are really dominant, but they're really more. They're pretty good offensively, subpar defensively. So I'm gonna say Sault Ste. Marie still pulls it out. 5. So not much hope, but a little.
Sports Week?
All right, I'm gonna blow everyone's mind here.
Oh,
All
jeez.
right. So what I'm thinking is, I know Sault Ste. Marie. I played against almost every player on their team, and they're all hot. You can't argue that. And then you got the Guelph, who's everyone's cold, everyone's there. Stats aren't there, but if there's one thing LG doesn't measure, and that's your heart and how much you want to win. So I believe the Guelph is going to push it to 7, and Tigers are going to get carried off the ice chanting Rudy. So I'm going to go Guelph and 7.
Really?
Wow.
I think so. I think if an 8's going to win, it's going to be Guelph.
That's an
Maybe.
interesting pick there. Although out
I
of most of these teams, I've played against Guelph. That team on the ice have a lot of heart. Honestly, them and Sarnia, they have a lot of heart. They don't give up. I know Sarnia did make the playoffs, so I'm gonna put them on a shout out here anyways. Between that eighth and ninth seed, that eighth and ninth spot in the West, both of those teams have a lot of heart. And this is going over to my prediction here as well. Um, Honestly, Sault Ste. Marie, top to bottom, roster wise, stat wise, matchup wise, they just honestly look like the better team. Now, like the Sport Freak said, Sault Ste. Marie, not Sault Ste. Marie, but Guelph, they have a lot of heart on the ice. They actually have beaten a couple of top teams. I could possibly see Guelph maybe getting a game one upset. Um, I actually could see it. We saw it last season with Sarnia and Peterborough in a 1-8 matchup, actually. Peterborough ended up winning that series 5-1. But I'm going to have the Greyhounds topping the Storm in 5. But I do think that I think the Storm are actually going to win game one, though. Also, I think they might give the Greyhounds a little slap on the wrist and say, this isn't going to be easy. We're not going to give up too easy. We're not going to give up too fast. We want to fight for it. So I do have the Storm winning 1, but I don't think they're going to take this series too deep here. I got the Greyhounds winning in 5. Last but not least, Bears.
I agree with what Midge just said about the Greyhounds and Guelph, but I do think the Greyhounds have a pretty deep roster, and Rowdy got a pretty good team, so I think I'm going to have to take the Greyhounds in 4.
Next series, we have the number 2 Lake Erie Otters versus the number 7 London Knights. Now, I know the London Knights are number 7, but they're not too bad of a team. They were exactly 500, 20-24. The Otters slipped up a little bit this week. Didn't play too well, neither did London, though. So it puts them on the same kind of scale morale-wise, I feel. The Otters went 26-13-6 with 58 points, finishing off second in the conference. We're going to switch it up and go over to London to start this series off.
Alright. I'm gonna say this is Lake Erie's to lose. Right off the bat. They have a really good defense. But if last year tells you anything, and setting your lines early tells you anything, first line matchup looks like it's going to be the 2-2 Forsberg Druin line with Galakabos, Ditka, and Exclusive Johnny going against Chaos Theory, Blackbeard, Kettlebaked, and AK Buckmaster. So they're not using the home advantage at all. 1. 2, London has kept up. Every game they've played is a 1-goal game, with it going 1-1. London taking the first and Otters taking the second. I would say that if Lake Erie cannot find scoring, they will lose. But I will still say their defense is probably going to win it for them. I'm going to say Lake Erie in 7.
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and switch it up and go to my prediction here. I'm going to go and blow everyone's mind who's watching this podcast. Like Valen said, honestly, I know Nylander and I know Pete Glenn, both respectable guys. Nylander, he's been around the league for a long time. Pete Glenn, this is his first season as AGM, but they've done really well this season. But honestly, London, I think this team is very underestimated. I know they struggled a little bit earlier in the season, but they kind of picked up. They struggled a little bit this week, but I think that was mostly because of experimentation, because they didn't really have anything to gain or lose, considering that they kind of pretty much were stuck in that 7th spot, considering they were like 7 points behind the 6th, and they had already clinched their spot. So I think they figured they had nothing to lose, and they were just experimenting with the lines. I am going to go ahead and pull an upset alert. I have the London Knights defeating Lake Erie in 7. We'll go over to CK now.
Well, I see you waited for me a little bit here. let me talk a little bit later, but I see Vatanin's also going with London here, if I'm correct. Looking at London, they do have some hot players, but Erie, they could be a scoring machine. All right. Now, London has beneficiary of time on attack here in this series, but London in these games, I mean, this is probably where it shows that they belong where they are, is they don't look to be scoring much with that time on attack. So I actually believe Erie could pull it off, knowing how they are right now. Both these teams are hot, of course, but I mean the goaltending might be a little bit off on London, but them not being able to score that much will hurt them especially with the time on attack that they have. Scoring like only, I don't know how many goals, but um, you know, they could struggle quite a bit in this series. So I'm gonna go with Erie in 6 here.
Over to Sport Freak.
All right. So I think the series is pretty straightforward. I believe, Wales fan, you said that Erie's going to win, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to agree with you. I think Erie's going to win in 6. But I'm normally pretty straight to the point and pretty blunt about stuff. So I'm going to call someone out this series. I'm going to call out Mr. Right Wing Barely Jewish 92. He's been doing quite a lot of chirping in the box of LG and saying he deserved it. So I want to see him show up and prove us what he's really got so we can leave it all behind us.
I would have to say, in this particular series, I think London actually could bring some surprising factors into the series. I know they're, not the greatest team, and I don't know if they intentionally dropped places or what, because they were doing good throughout the season, from what I understand. And but I think they could actually pull out an upset here, and I'm going to say London in 6.
Yeah, I think we actually we had 4 of us have London. I mean, 3 of us have London, 2 of us have Lake Erie. So I think that actually probably going to be our upset alert here. Anyways, let's go to the 3 and 6 series here. Try to get this going. Plymouth Whalers, who is probably the hottest team in the league right now, going up against Whale fans, Kitchener Rangers. Don't be surprised if Kitchener can win a couple games in this series. They're not a bad team, even though they're seeding the Western Conference is a very tough conference with a lot of good teams in there. It'll be interesting to see what the two teams will be able to do line-wise. I know both of these two teams have very strong first lines. We're going to pick you last, Will fan. This is your team. We're going to go over to Sport Freak.
I'm not even going to mention anything about this series, so I'm actually
Fair
going
enough.
to do what I like to do here. I'm just going to sit back and watch this all happen here. So.
You got the pillow, too.
Yeah, I'll be sitting back a little bit, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Glory, what do you have to say here? Whalers, Rangers, 2 hot teams facing off against each other.
I'm gonna say that Plymouth is hot as hell right now. No doubt about that. I like Whale fans' team a lot. The defense, they've traded a lot of defense away. We've made a lot of trades this season, and I know they have a pretty solid defense with Bedazzled and Warpath. Death Maul's really good. That's a really good pickup for you. I don't know his availability's great, but it's a great pickup. TK Who Your Daddy, I know my black belt's been hot and has to be the Nike. It's pretty good as well. But the problem is that you're facing a team with 3 amazing lines. It's I would pretty much say they're the West North Bay. Now that 4th line's back and now that 7th is hint hint going to forward with 4th line. Yeah, I think it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a great series. I really hope you stream it, Will fan. I hope they stream it.
Actually,
I'll watch
matter
every
of
game.
fact, if you look up LG_Kitchener_Rangers. CT will have the coverage of that part of that series.
We'll have
I
to see if
believe the
Plymouth can do the
first time you'll
rest.
see it is Monday, but
Okay.
I don't know if anybody on Plymouth streams.
I'll have
I
to
doubt
talk
it
to
though.
Seven and see if he can have a stream, because I know that's over all the series that I want to watch is probably this one. I'm gonna say Plymouth in 7, and that's just because I know what Plymouth is gonna throw at you, because we talked about what he was gonna throw at me when we had the potential matchup, and I really hope you pull up an upset because I really don't want to play them. So if we win. So I'm going to say Plymouth in 7. I just think the offense is too good.
All right, I'm gonna go over to my prediction here. Both teams hot as hell right now. I feel that the Rangers, personally, I think that their goaltending, pretty good. I've seen both Dangler and Whale fan play two pretty good tendies in their own right. I feel the Whalers also have some good goaltending, led by Lyskin, who I've heard through the grapevine will be playing defense for them actually. So I'm not really sure who the tendies
That's
will
actually
be.
goalie. Or yeah, he's playing goalie,
Goalie.
and Wiener is going to
Oh,
defense,
Wiener's going
and
to defense. Yeah, Wiener.
Wiener's going to defense. Yep.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine Wiener's going to be at defense. My bad, I got the two mixed up. This is going to be a very close series. I'm really dying to see the Rangers stream it. Hopefully the Whalers stream a couple times as well. I hate to say it, but as hot as this team is right now, as hot as some of those lines are, I gotta say Whalers are going to win in 7 here. I think the Rangers will sneak in a couple. I think that they'll probably be down 3-2 and win Game 6 at home, but the Whalers just a hot team right now. Um, like Glory said, I really think that both of these teams are even, but the streak of Plymouth right now 7-0-1, 9-0-1 their last 10, not one regulation loss in their last 10 games. That's outstanding. I got the Whalers going in 7 here, but over to Sport Freak.
All right. Well, can't argue too many points. Plymouth is extremely hot right now. Like you said, 9-0-1 the last 10. It's amazing that they've come on strong these last week or two and just been on fire. Kitchener, on the other hand, they may have a few guys that are cold, but the guys that are cold can very well snap out of it and by the drop of the puck and give them a run for their money. I'm with you guys at a point. I think Plymouth can take it. Do I think they will? I don't know. So I'm gonna tell Wales fan to hold off on putting Tiger Woods in his Xbox because I see him going to round 2 and winning in 6.
Wow. That's actually good. That's actually not a bad prediction. If Plymouth slacks off a couple games, the Rangers could very well win the series. And I just want to put 7th on blast here. I'm glad to see some of our bag of pucks helped you. You seem to be doing much better at home. So I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see some of our Saginaw pucks have carried on to you guys. They've done much better at home this week, which I feel hopefully can carry over. That trade happened 2 weeks ago. They actually they went from 6-7-1 at home to 13-7-1. So they've definitely improved thanks to our nothing for nothing trade. But now over to Bears with his prediction finally on the Rangers and Whalers series.
I haven't really played the Rangers that much. I think we might have played once or twice, but I know Plymouth is a very strong team. Some put together a great defensive team, and they just got good forwards. Drizzly, fucking fourth line worthy. Just a great team, man. Good luck. I got Plymouth in 6.
Final series. Some are saying that this one and the Niagara Generals one might be two of the best series, both being 4 and 5. The Owen Sound Attack versus me and Vaden and Saginaw Spirit. Just a point difference between them. 27-15-3 are the Attack. 26-15-4 of the Spirit. These teams seem pretty even to me personally. I'm not going to do any predictions. I'm going to let the 4 of you guys take it away. I actually came with a pillow here myself, so I'm gonna sit back and relax myself and hear what you guys have to say. I'm gonna kick it
All
off
right,
over
Beja. I
to
think
Wesley.
Botman should take a step aside, and so should Sports Freak, because I know this is your series. So actually, this is
I
more
don't
of
know.
a
I want to talk
conversation
about that.
between me and Bears. Just saying, as if it could hurt you guys. Who knows? Basically, Saginaw, huh? This team has developed good goaltending. Like Street Beast has been a good goaltender for them. I've also seen Godly Hayes. He wasn't that bad of a goaltender. Big Tendy, apparently big over there right now. So is the Dirty 30. Although he's called up, that's gonna hurt. Um, I think another goalie that you guys had produced but traded, Vaporhawk, to Plymouth, I believe. But I don't know
He's
if he'll be
actually with
used.
Belt. I think he, yeah, he is the Pumas, isn't he? Or did he get waived again?
He's on
No,
Plymouth.
Plymouth.
Alright.
Yep,
Okay.
on TC. But anyways, back to Saginaw here. I mean, I've seen a couple cold guys, couple hot guys to go up to Owen Sound here. I see Owen Sound, or here, hold on here. Owen Sound has some pretty good O-line players. Defense might be a little bit off, but goaltending looks to be very, very solid, just like Saginaw had at the start of the season. I think Saginaw could quickly become hot. But I know I said this in my thread about the playoff predictions. Owen Sound could snag a couple wins, but Owen Sound, I mean, I gotta admit, I'm saying that once that puck drops, they're given a run for their money. I mean, even with us this season, we've given them every possible tough situation out there, and I know we played them 3 times this season, but we gave them their run for their money. I think Saginaw can easily do that. So I'll go over to Bears with this one. What do you think, bud? Actually, I'll put an expiration on this one. Um, I believe that um, Owen could probably snag it, but Saginaw in 7. All right, Bears, go ahead.
All right. Well, looking at these rosters right now, Owen Sound has a very solid offensive line with Glitch Goaling, and Pasty, Dutchy, and Netsky is pretty good. Solid goaltending, and you got a pretty solid training camp there too. I know Playmaker's he's a pretty solid winger. Unfortunately, he's on vacation, I guess, until the 15th. But on the other hand, Saginaw also has some very good forwards. Crazy Ape, Frag What Frag. I think it's going to be interesting with Krispy Kreemer good. He's good too. Should be an interesting series. I think it's going to go right down to the wire. And I'm going to have to take Saginaw in 7.
All right. Well, since Sport Freak and Vatanen and also Be a Major, since this is their series, we prefer them not to talk that much about it.
I
Could
do
very
want to
well hurt
comment a
them.
few things.
Real
Real quick, yeah. And nothing.
No
I'm not
Other
gonna
than
make
their
predictions.
projected second
No
in
prediction.
tag.
I'm gonna make predictions. Actually, one thing I will say is, unlike any other playoff matchup, me and Sport Freak we're pretty good friends. At least I think we are. I'll let him speak on that part for himself. But we've kind of kept in contact throughout the season. We give each other shit here and there. Another thing, though, we have not faced each other whatsoever. We haven't played once this season. It was a scheduling mix-up. We haven't seen each other since preseason, in which I don't think we all showed up at all. So not only is this me and Glitch and Sport Freak all know each other as well as B Major. We haven't played each other at all. So we don't really know whose line's who, what goalie plays how. We're going to be learning how to play each other as well as playing buddies. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to piss me off. I'm going to smoke a lot. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Nice.
A lot of beer involved. I don't know how Sport feels about it, but it should be fun. I know we didn't want to face each other first round, but it'll be fun either way.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with you. And honestly, I feel like when you look at the numbers and when you look at the rosters, these teams are almost kind of mirror images of each other when you think about, each line is pretty good in their own rights. The defense is pretty top-notch. They have pretty good goalies on Owen Sound. I feel our goalies are also pretty good. Zeno, if you're watching this, can you please send me some kind of PM or tag me in below and tell me if temporary call-ups are available for playoffs? I don't necessarily know the rule on that. I'm pretty sure they are during the regular season.
Real quick, Major, I did a lot of searching while we were doing this. There's nothing in the playoff rules that says you cannot play about the temporary call-ups. And in the Constitution 3.4.3 temporary call-ups, CHL players whom are used as a temporary call-up to the NHL or AHL are eligible to play their maximum amount of games in the CHL as well. So I'm guessing what we'll do there is we'll probably keep Dirty, and we'll just keep 16 guys on the roster, and I'm just going to schedule them. I already talked to Sancty, though.
We need to talk to Lena about that tomorrow when we can, just to get clarification. But
I already talked to Sancty about it, too. Yeah, I talked to Sancty, too. He can play every other game. So I'm not going to tell you what we're throwing at you, Sport, but yeah, we'll have something good.
Can't wait.
I can't either.
But back to what I was saying, I feel like both these teams are really even. It's going to be interesting. This is kind of like one of those Call of Duty Black Ops Zombie mystery box situations, we don't necessarily know what Owen Sound's going to throw at us, and I don't really know I don't think Owen Sound really knows what we're going to throw at them. I think it's going to be one of those curveball sliders every night kind of situations. I see a couple of good lines from each team. I think this will definitely be a fun series. I'm excited for it personally.
What I will say too is one thing that I will say, and what I'll predict is Owen sounds a lot more offensive than we are. Me and Mage have built this team from the back end. I don't know what the hell Bears is laughing at.
I didn't know you guys could do that, man. My bad.
He's dying. No, I just see your face all goofy over there. But I will say that our defense we built from the back end, and it looks like Owen Sound built from the front. So it should be interesting to see what our defense can do against their offense.
Yeah, let's get.
I'm done.
Free get a word on this if he wants to. That's up to him.
I guess I could throw a word in or two. No predictions. I don't want to curse myself and beat myself up for it later. But I have utmost respect for Glory and B Major. I've been buddies with him for a while, and Glory's been harassing me to be on the show, so I finally decided to do it. But I wish him the best in the series, and Glory, do you play lefty or right D?
I play whatever the team needs, so I don't know what I'm playing yet.
I just want to know what side of the ice to come down so I can say hi.
Of course. I'll be sure to beat you.
Wait, are you a left wing sport freak?
Yes, I'll be playing left wing for the rest of the
season. You'll probably be facing me.
Like you're going to be saying hi to me over there too, but me and Glory, we're both on the right side.
Well, I guess we're having a fight at the puck drop.
Nice.
Are we calling this first out of the gate? Are we fighting each other?
If you're playing game one and I end up playing game one, we have to do it.
We will fight. I will guarantee if I play on the ice with either one of you, there will be a fight before the game's over.
Alright, well, we'll draw close. As long as Glitch drops him too. Glitch can drop with one of us, and I'll drop with you.
I'm sure. And I'm sure. Shout out to Glitch Goaling. He's my AGM. He couldn't be on the show, but I owe him my entire gratitude. He's helped me build this team, and he's looking forward to helping me beat you guys, and it's going to be the best series, in my opinion, that I could possibly have.
Yeah, I have the utmost respect for you and your whole team. I actually talked to a couple of them last night during the All-Star game, which I actually wanted to talk to you later about after the show for Creek with a couple of things. But I have the utmost respect for that for you guys. Best of luck. But anyways, thanks to the 4 of you gentlemen for coming on. Thanks for the 2 co-hosts for being here as always. Shout out to the editor Krispy Kreemer, to the whole media team, staff, and everyone. Thanks for you guys all for coming on. Thanks for you guys for watching. Make sure to feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
Thanks again for watching. Best of luck to every team going out there in the playoffs. For Bears, Sport Freak, Bodman, and CK Whale Fan, this is B Major signing out of episode 7
See you next week.
CHL The Zone. See you next week, everybody.